Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying I really would like to get somebody to help me, but I really don't have time to do that, to focus on that, right? 100%. But I did want to ask you though about how you do your media, your social media, and your just keeping people engaged. You do that yourself, or you working with a VA?
I got a
Software?
yeah, I got a virtual assistant that does all my social media stuff. Yeah,
And who is she with?
see with
What
me.
company?
I can introduce. I can. I was gonna do it at a certain point, but because I didn't want to give y'all too much too soon. But that was something I was going to introduce once we got to that point. But if you're
Oh,
ready, we
okay.
can. No. You don't gotta wait. If you're ready, we can have that conversation. It's just a matter of me just introducing you to her, and she charged me for what she does. So she does my home care stuff, my AlanChaney.com stuff. So she gives me a certain amount of content every week. So
And so when you say right, so exactly. So does she design the content and
yep,
post it for you, and does do all of your posting and all of that? And
everything.
you just approving it.
Yep, that's it. She sent it to me, and I approved it. That's it.
Yeah, let me get that number. The reason I asked you who she's with, because I use Fiverr and Upwork, and because I don't know if I shared with you that I also invest in real estate. So I'm familiar with virtual assistants, but
Yeah,
I usually go through a company, but they just kind of wearing me out with, saying, because, you still got to interview them, and they don't always do what they say they could do. You still got to manage them.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, we trained ours, so so that's just the social media. Then we got them doing our phone calls, follow ups, interviews, all that stuff. So they do a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. So, okay, so what I have to do to get in touch with them? Oh, you said you're gonna have her call me, you said?
Um, I'll introduce y'all. I'll do like a group chat and explain. I'm first. I gotta explain to her what's our situation, and then she's actually in the group on Facebook. It's a Korean lady. You'll see it. It's on the cohort group. She's in there. She's like the
Oh,
only.
okay.
It's only 9 people in there. Ain't nobody else coming in there. So she's the Korean. The
Oh,
lady. Her
okay.
name is I don't know her name. I call her Carmel is the name of her company. But she in our
What you
group.
say, caramel?
Uh, I can't even remember. It's some
Oh,
weird
okay.
name. It's like Korean, but
Okay.
it's
No, you said the name of her group. I didn't get that part.
no, our group, the group that we in.
Oh, yeah, I thought you had said something else. Her name was Caramel. I don't know.
Like her company's name is Carmel Media, but her name is Catherine Song, Song, like a song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she in the group. So I'll just we'll do a group message, and I'll introduce you to her on like Messenger, and we'll go from there. She so my social media, she only charged me like 600 a month.
Okay.
I'm sure. I'm not going to say. I don't know if that's the price she's gonna give everybody, but I'm just saying that's what she charged me.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But like, I guess she'll be able to tell what that all entails.
Oh
Like
yeah,
what
she
you
gonna
get.
do they're official. They're gonna do a whole, on board, and first you're gonna set up a consultation, walk you through. She gonna go look first. You're gonna look at your social media and see what's up there,
Well,
and then she'll
there won't be much.
yeah. So she'll tell you what she could do from there. Like she could get
Okay.
you follow. She could get your Instagram. Get more followers on. Like they good. She the real thing, and she does like she does. She's not just like a general virtual assistant. She does home care, like this business. So this is her business
Okay.
as well. She's a nurse in the Philippines. I mean in Korea, but she do social media as well. So
Also, she's currently located in Korea.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So uh,
So
it's on.
so you just found you knew her or something?
Just networking.
Yeah,
Like once you so like I've been dealing with virtual assistants for a long time. Like you said, I used to do real estate. I used to flip houses. I used to
Yeah.
wholesale, yeah, and all that back in the day, like
Okay.
right after '08. Like I had
Uh-huh.
jumped in about like 20, like in '09, like 2010, stuff like that, when it was like really hot. And that's when I started. That's when I got familiar with virtual assistants, and I've been dealing with them ever since. So I just got a
Right.
lot of them. I got, we done been to Jamaica, Philippines, and all that, meeting them and everything. I I like the ones in the Caribbean for like calling my leads for home care, and because sometimes when you like some of the Filipinos or I don't have no Koreans making phone calls for me, but the Filipinos they don't have the greatest English. So
Yeah, them, and then there's the because I've been dealing with Filipinos, Pakistan, and I use a dialer called Mojo, so I could go in and listen to the calls that they're
yep,
making. And
we use
yeah,
Mojo
and
Dollar.
oh, okay, so they not I'm not really digging. Like I could tell from the conversation that it could be annoying to the person that they're making the
Yep.
calls to, and I don't like that, and I don't really want that to be the face or on the phone of my company.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like I like Jamaica. Like you can find some ladies with some pretty good English in like the Caribbean. Um, and I found them on Fiverr.
Yeah, I
And they do
found
about
some.
800 calls a week for $400. So
Yeah.
that's what we're gonna get started. I was gonna try to wait and see if we can get a couple more people. I'm exhausted. I ain't gonna front. I'm exhausted. Um, so we just gonna go over this.
I think somebody else joined.
Yeah, somebody. Hold on. Let me check. Esther. Hey, Esther, how you doing? Can you hear me? We're gonna go ahead and get started. I guess you guys can kind of, just kind of let me know how y'all been making out, what type of what y'all been working on up until this point, and if there was any concerns or anything like that, any problems you ran into, or anything that you need help with, we can discuss it now before I get into the actual document.
Well, I got mine in.
Okay, Esther, can you hear me? She might not even be on yet. Like people be logging in, but they're not listening. So, but this is basically the are you familiar with the home care benchmark study?
No, you was talking about it last week though, about the best care provider or caregiver.
Home care services, yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. So let me go back. Can I go back? So pretty much what this is the home care benchmark study is this company, Home Care Pulse, the one who started this study. They interview the top home care services in the country. They interview all the top. Hey Sonya, how you doing? They interview all the top home care services in the country. That's what they do. And then they get all these different they have all these different questionnaires. They interview me too. And sales, marketing, and they just ask you all these questions about what these things what are you doing in these different areas. So once we go through it, you'll have a better understanding of what I'm saying. But it's just a study that shows you, it just shows what's working and what's not, and what the people who are doing the best, what they're doing, and what's working and what's not. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Hey Sonya, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Didn't you say home care post was for the training?
They do that too. Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. Well, so this is just some marketing stuff they got coming. It says the Home Care Pulse Care Intelligence platform. They're big on data. So they're always, like if you see right there, say caregiver training, experience surveys, review managers. So like this is like they're big on like they're big on quality assurance and just like getting feedback from your caregivers and your clients. They're really big on feedback. So they that's majority of what their platform is about. They're adding new stuff, like the training is new. They didn't have this last year. So they're adding stuff here every so often, but their core was always data, like these surveys and just knowing what's working and stuff like that in the industry.
And statistics wise,
yeah. Statistics, yeah, data, yeah. So executive summary, I guess this is the whole, is this the whole thing? Okay, executive summary. So we're gonna just kind of breeze through this. I don't want to spend all night on this. I'm not gonna do anything else. We're gonna just focus on this, but it's a lot of like stuff that's just like a waste of time in here too. I mean, it's just not relevant for what we're gonna be talking about. So finance, operations, technology, the client, caregiver experience, and best of home care. So I'm just gonna go through this. Home Care Association of America, they be like lobbying for like different things that people in the home care industry want done. So there's like lobby stuff. I don't get into all that. I'm trying to get us to the meat. So this is just the historical data from the survey itself. This isn't like content, anything that's important for us. This is telling you where the participants and all that stuff. So, still participation. Okay. So these are all the people who participated. I mean, where they're getting, all the participants who they surveyed for this information. Participation by revenue range. So either from 0 to 800,000, 800K to 1.5, and then all the way to 5K. I mean 5M. And they're calling them masters. That's like a new term they're calling. So they're calling like the people who are making 5 million or more a year masters. Overall survey participation agency owners. Okay. And if I'm going too fast, I can definitely just say something and then we can cover whatever. But it's certain, like, I just want to get to like certain specific things I want to talk about. I know this is relevant for y'all. Home Care Association. Okay, these are just different associations. Now this stuff is good stuff. This is all good information. See, this is the master's stuff. They did more than 5 million in 2020, so that's what made them qualified as masters. Okay, master participation by provider type, franchises. So franchises is always probably doing the best because they got the best program. They're systemized like McDonald's. So like the Bright Stars and stuff like that, they're always, most of them are doing pretty good. The ones that are in the good grades and independent owners. So we would be independent owned. Sonia, can you hear me? Sonia and Esther. They might just be listening in, that's fine.
I can hear you.
Okay, I just wanted to touch bases and see how you made out last week. And if you had any questions or concerns or problems you may have ran across. How did you do last week?
I don't know.
I can dig it. It's fine. We're gonna keep it going. I just want to make sure we talking, because you came in a little late, so that's all.
Yeah, it's all right.
Mm-hmm. So they just got some articles and stuff. Okay, now this is some good stuff here. Sales and marketing. Now this is important. The sales and marketing section contains a wide array of information about client acquisition, including the top channels for consumer marketing, referral marketing. Home care agencies use a variety of strategies and channels to find new clients. These sections dissect the use of these strategies and help and helps provide insight into marketing methods that are available. So. What's important for me here? The survey select the top 5. Okay. I'd be having to like read this stuff first because I don't really be knowing what I'd be looking at without really paying attention. Okay. So when we look at median cost, median client acquisition cost, that's important. Like the acquisition cost, that means what it costs you to get a client. Whatever marketing strategy you using, what is it costing you per client? And a lot of times it's hard to even know that number. You got to be really, paying attention to what you got going on in your company. And it's hard for like smaller companies like us to really dial it down to the penny like that. But you still want to have an idea of what it's going to take per client. And you want to make sure you're trying to get that number as low as possible, obviously. That's probably like the only number that I see that's relevant right here. But when it says 2020 top marketing sources, they looking at like, these are all the places that clients are coming from. So the first industry 2020, clients past and current clients and their family loved ones. That's probably the top referral source. And that's probably why I said the top. And then the internet, I don't benefit from the internet like most, they talk about the internet a lot in here. We don't get as many inquiries from the internet, even though we do search engine optimization, run ads and stuff like that. It's just still not as strong as they saying it is, but I don't see that in my personal experience. Caregivers, employees, I don't know why that's on there. Very seldom. They say that caregivers, again, employees bring leads. These are sources for clients. Hasn't been my experience. If a caregiver most of the time find a client or figure out a way to find a client, they'll probably try to work them themselves. Or I think in the beginning I did have a caregiver that said, they had ran into like a family member that came over or a friend of the family, and they were looking for service while she was at work. And she did say that we were, but so I can't really say she brought the client because she was just working at a case for us. Caregivers is not about to be marketing for you. When they get off, they off. So it's not like they about to be out here trying to pass out business cards and stuff like that. So I don't, that's not my experience. Healthcare professionals like assisted livings, home health agency, hospices. Now this stuff here, discharge, now this is from assisted living, home health agencies, hospices, and discharge planners, hospital discharge. These are like this is where you want to focus. Those 4, where it says healthcare professionals. Those are very important, especially in the beginning, because it doesn't really cost anything. Just time. You want to make sure you have your literature. Like your folder and everything, and your brand on point, your website, everything. So when you do go in and start meeting with people and they do some research on you, or they, just do a soft search on you, you want to make sure stuff is coming up when they Google you. But it's not a lot of marketing dollars that goes into you calling these different facilities, making scheduling meetings and stuff like that. It's just time. And that's really where we're going to focus. And I'm just looking down here for a few more. Facebook, I get a lot of, I get caregivers from Facebook. And then you see healthcare professional, again, it says skilled nursing facilities. That's another one, like rehabs and stuff like that. Rehab facilities. So, and then at the bottom, it says rehabilitation hospitals again, rehabilitation hospitals, and then the Veterans Administration's program. So I'm just kind of trying to make it like this relevant and tell you guys what my experience is. clients, healthcare professionals. Oh, these are what the masters are doing. So they're saying these are the masters. These are the top people. This is what they're doing. They're getting their most clients. Absolutely. When you have when you service clients in a great way, they can't stop talking about you. It's almost like they be bragging. Like, oh, my caregivers is this, my company, the company I work with that. And that's a good thing for you. But that's only if you're doing, if you're going above and beyond and you really, making sure they happy. And that's usually with communication for the most part when it comes to clients. Again, they're doing healthcare professionals, and then the internet. So the few that if you guys don't have any clients, then the first one isn't relevant. Healthcare professionals, again, this is where you want to be focusing at. And we're going to get there. That's just meaningful relationship development. So inquiry tracking, historical industry tracking comparison. Inquiry tracking is basically you just tracking your inquiries. Like, why they have to ask that? I guess people don't. Like, I don't know how you not like, I don't know how you call yourself being in business and you're not tracking, but things do slip through the crack. And I mean, it's just like phone calls, people who just inquire, whether it's coming through social media, your website, email. You might get an email from a client, a potential lead, a lead. And then most of it's gonna be phone calls if you got your phone number in different places. So I do understand that if you're not set up right, that things will slip through the cracks. That's why you got to make sure you have good phone systems in place, and you have to make sure that each marketing avenue that you're using has a specific number, and you know exactly where these calls are coming from. And that's what they're saying by tracking the comparisons from the people who tracked and the people who didn't. And that's the revenue difference in the ones who do and the ones who don't. And if y'all got any questions on this stuff not making sense, we can figure it out together, because some of it I didn't read this thing like word for word. Medium sales conversion for 20%. Annual inquiries. So I am probably on this. Is this the amount of inquiries we getting? Percent graph. I think this is the one where it's how like the number of inquiries you getting. Like, so that's me, people calling in, like asking for services. I'm probably in the 50th. No. We're getting over 100. So where is that? That's the 75 percentile. Yeah. So I'm probably like over like the 120. Like, that's how many calls I get a year for home care. And I seem like a little bit, and it is. It's not a lot of calls. You don't get a lot of inquiries in home care. Compared to other industries where, your phone's ringing off the hook. When this business doesn't, you don't have millions and millions of people. Like, if you look at the top people, like the masters, they're getting 1,000 calls a year, but that's probably the top. That's Bright Star. Like, I don't know whoever's big in y'all's area, if y'all even heard of Bright Star, but they're like the biggest franchise out here where I'm at. So yeah. And the majority of those that we saw where they're coming from was from healthcare professionals and past clients. Revenue range. Okay. Inquiry to close assessment. Okay, this is like inquiry to close. So just conversion. How many of those leads are you converting? How many of those leads are you converting? This is what this is. 30%, 29%. I'm definitely in the 30%, like the top. Like, we're not, if we can get, if we could get, I know this may sound sad, but if we could get 10 new clients a year, we doing pretty good. Believe it or not. It's not a lot. You see what I'm saying? It's just not that type of, and it's kind of weird saying it because I know people be like, man, but you got to remember, we are, the clients don't, some clients last a long time. Like I got clients that I've been servicing for multiple years, and then some of them don't last a week. So it's a buildup. It's the longer you're doing it, the more clients you'll have. So if if you can get 10 clients a year, you're doing a great job. And my personal goal per client is between 800 and 1,200 profit. That's not always the case, but that's my goal per client. So you could do the math. If you get 10 a year, you should be doing pretty good. So this is just the conversions from the last page. How many are they converting? And are you guys with me on this? It's kind of hard doing this without no feedback. Are you guys?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And are you guys looking at the pages? Are you reading it? I don't want to go too fast.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm moving fast, just say something. Because I'm reading some of this stuff because I haven't read everything. Annual sales close experiment first. Okay, this is just they trying to sell home care pulse right here. So they're trying to get you to use their survey here. They're trying to say that the people who, I don't use them for anything, but like the training and then the surveys that they put out every year. And it's a quick thing. If you take the training, I mean, if you use them to train your to train your caregivers, they'll throw this in free every year, and it's like 500 every year. This survey. Top growth opportunities. This is interesting. Top growth opportunities. Survey participants were asked, what do you see as your number one growth opportunity in 2021? So caregiver recruitment and retention programs, strengthening relationship referral sources, company expansion in new markets, increasing client referrals by increasing client referrals by improving client satisfaction, and company acquisition. This is buying another company. For me, I definitely see, I'm doing number 3. I'm expanding into a new market. I'm still in the state of Maryland, but I'm expanding into different counties. Strengthening relationship with referral sources. We always trying to do that. Caregiver recruitment and retention programs. I don't have any I'm not doing anything new, and I don't really see anything that I'm excited about when it comes to caregivers, especially since like COVID. It's just make like people not working. You know what I mean? So I've been struggling with that. So I don't see any growth opportunity in that from number 1, the caregiver recruitment. And then company acquisition. I thought about it, and like some of the smaller agencies we looked at, and I made an offer once, but I'm not like in the market looking for it to buy a home care service to like grow like that. No, I'm not looking like that. So the only thing that's relevant for me on this is strengthening relationship with referral sources and expanding to new markets. And you can always be increasing client referrals by improving client satisfaction. And that's what I was saying earlier, was that the better you are at making them happy, the more they're going to, talk about you, share your information. Man, I have a client now. It seemed like she worked for me because all she do is, send people. And it's like, it don't even be like, no, it's obviously we, thank her, gifts, never cash, just because she's wealthy. And I'm not gonna give no wealthy person I know she's cash is stupid. You just gotta know who you're dealing with. And she just loves our company. She loves that we're small, that we're like family owned and stuff like that. She's just really helpful. And that's, like I said, her husband, we took care of her husband for about 1.5 years. and then he had dementia, and he just kept declining, and then till like maybe like 4 months ago, he had threw a bowl at her, and a bowl of ice cream. And dude, I forgot his name, Lenny. He was like 6'6", 300. He used to play sports back in the day. And she was like, I can't be in the same house with him. Like, because if she said, that's no longer my husband. Once he threw that bowl at her, she got, she put him in a home. And that was that. But she's been just like our biggest cheerleader ever since. And that's just because the care we gave her husband. She couldn't find a caregiver that can deal with him. And we put somebody over there who would, we put one of our best dementia caregivers over there, and she was able to get him in the shower. If you guys ever work with anybody with dementia, you know that getting them in the shower is always the issue. Getting them to change clothes always the issue, and stuff like that. So that's really the best place that's where you're going to get your clients from, is by just doing great, providing great service to the clients you already had. But first you have to get a client, right? So we're going to focus on, if we don't have clients, we're going to focus on referral sources. Median client growth rates. What does this mean? The majority of providers in California reported a 0 or negative client growth rate, excluding California Pacific. Okay. So this is the growth rate. So how much so they saying California has 0 growth so that's saying that did you gain more clients this year than last year is what I'm guessing what this means, right? And COVID, I guess it's not surprising to people who are in the healthcare field. Like, business is booming for us. I'm exhausted. Like, like what I've been doing in the home care side, it's been straight hiring. Like, we're just all caregivers right now. Clients is easy. Once y'all get out here and start marketing it, it's just the big agencies, they're just overwhelmed, because it's just because people have to get back to work. They took all these months and maybe even years off, and now they just like rage and try and get back to work. And now they don't care who in there. We need somebody in here with my grandmother, boom, boom, or my mom, and they're trying to get back and get their lives back. So not just working and traveling, vacation. So that's been great for us. So our growth has been great from the last year to now. But growth has to be managed properly or it'll break you. So it's not always, you always want to be growing, but it has to be like managed properly. Because if you grow too fast, then your customer satisfaction would decline quickly, because you're not there for, you're not you're not communicating with the families the way you were probably when you had less clients, because your staff isn't to where, it has to just happen gradually. So like quick growth can hurt you, but like slow, steady, client acquisition is always a good thing. So I'm saying that to say that like all these calls are definitely putting a strain on us, even though it's good because you want it, but it has to be, managed properly. Or you'll trip over your own self. You'll trip over your own feet, especially when hiring caregivers. And that's it. Caregivers are the lifeblood of this thing. So the caregivers have to be great. And that's the struggle, finding great caregivers right now. Any questions or comments at this point? I'll take that as a no. Median client acquisition cost. Okay, so this is the median client acquisition cost. I'm in the Northeast, 672. So just being 100% honest with you guys, I don't necessarily know my client acquisition costs. I just don't. I have a marketing budget every month, and if I can add to it, I'll add to it. And if I can't make it, I won't be able to do everything I'm usually doing. I'm trying, like, I have a goal and I have a budget to maintain those goals. And if I can't, meet those goals. It just be what it be. So I guess I can look at it and say like, okay, we spent this and then we got this, but it's not as clear as they make it like a 650, 647. Like I can't dial it down to like an exact number, but we can get pretty close. I guess if we look at the marketing budget and how many clients we got per month with that budget, but it's just a couple of different variables that I feel like that this should be more. It would take for me to come down to that number than just a blanket. Okay, we spent this amount of money on marketing. We got this many clients. Let's divide it by whatever. So if I spend 5,000 and I only got one client that month, but you know, what if I get 3 clients? I might get 7 leads, 8 good leads, and then I close 2 or 3 more the next following. So it's like that, but I spent the next money next month. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard for me to dial it down. But the point of this is to know that these are the numbers. This is the amount of money that people are spending per client. That's the point that the study is showing us here. So these are the different regions. So if you out west, you expecting to pay $600 to $700 for client per client, as far as your marketing and stuff like that, whatever you're going to have to do to get that client, and so on and so forth. Client acquisition costs, the 9th percentile. It says 95th percentile saying that they're paying only $11 to acquire client acquisition costs. In some past edition, this graph has been placed high client acquisition costs and high percentiles and low client acquisition costs and corresponding low percentiles. We switched this order to reflect the fact that high percentiles are typically used to show desirable rankings or outcomes, that is low client acquisition. Okay. If they're getting clients for $11, if it was a company in my market that could figure out some kind of way to get clients for $11 per, I wouldn't even be in business. I'd be in the homeless shelter, because there's no way I don't know what they could be doing to get clients for $11. Like, I don't know. Like, they got to just be using the phone. Like, I can't imagine doing anything else. Like, what else can you be doing to get a client for that cheap? So like the median, the 50%, like this is more consistent with my reality. 300 to 800 is more consistent, but 800 isn't far-fetched. And I know it sounds big. Now these 5th percentile, 2,000 to 4,900, that's a lot per client. That's a lot. So. This is the hurricane, the Steve brother. He on the internet. He on Facebook a lot. These are just like little articles. So they have different people contribute to the study. So the sales and marketing data is pretty much done, I think, once they start posting these articles. We're not reading these articles. A return to good sales strategy. Recruitment retention. What time is it? 5:40. We'll probably just be able to get through recruitment and retention tonight. So this is good. Internet, it's like Indeed free and paid plan. Indeed is great. So have you guys all set up Indeed accounts? Sonia, and I know Sonia, you're more excited about the assisted living. So some of this stuff may not be relevant. I mean, Valerie, I'm sorry, Valerie. Valerie's more concerned about the assisted living stuff. So you may not have set up an Indeed account or anything like that. But if you haven't, do it. And then you can start posting ads once you they don't have, you don't have to do the paid ones, just do the free ones and start building your database of caregivers, possible caregivers that you can hire. You just want to start getting them in, because it becomes like it's a numbers game. You have to go through a lot of them to get to a good one. You might go through, you might do 20 interviews, you might look at 20, 30 applications before you say yes, just because it's just, it's just the industry. Current employees, so I would like to get more referrals from my caregivers, especially my really good caregivers. But it's like I didn't already maxed out. All they friends, I'm already, people that they felt like they would be good with us. We already got them. So it's kind of like you get to like a place where you're kind of stuck with that. But they're usually good because people don't really bring like lazy people to work because they feel like they're going, it's gonna look bad on them. So the caregivers that we do have, they're usually, when they do bring, it's not often, but when they do have referrals, they're usually good. Facebook, I've been using Facebook a lot, and LinkedIn. I never use my CNA jobs, word of mouth. That's cool. I started out on Craigslist. I don't use that no more. Care.com, I don't use it. So I'm getting my most inquiries from Indeed and Facebook right now. Mostly Facebook, but the Facebook ones are low quality leads, like caregiver leads. Top 10 caregiver recruitment sources. Again, the internet. This is pretty much the same stuff here. This just the masters. These are what the masters are doing. So these are the most successful home care services. Well, no matter whatever they're doing, if you can get as close to what they're doing. So if they're doing Indeed free and paid, you need to be doing Indeed free and paid. And so on and so forth. If you look at advertisement, look, it says church or faith-based newspapers. That's the first one, and that's the one I love the most, truthfully. So when you go on to we ain't gonna get into it, but like churches are really good for like caregivers, man. It's just great. It's great. It's great. I mean, for obvious reasons. Just the type of people that be in there. They always just want to be helpful for the most part. So you guys can look at this real quick. AARP. Yeah. So top recruitment sources. Again, this is all the same stuff. They just talking about the same stuff. We know what the top ones is, so I'm gonna just kind of brush through this stuff. Historical impact of caregiver shortage. Okay. This is important because if you look at 2018, 2019, 2020, this is the 2021. So this was for the year before last. Extremely negative impact. If you notice, like most of them in 2020, 2019 was really bad for everybody. 2020, things start getting a little better. For me, 2021, I didn't have any problem finding clients. It was just caregivers. So I understand that as far as that's concerned, the caregivers just not being available. I mean, not willing to work. And then if you getting a check, a stimulus check, an unemployment check with a bonus on top of it, it's almost competing with what we paying. You know what I'm saying? We was probably just a little bit more because we started having to pay. I had just went up to $15 an hour. So that stimulus money, they just be like, I can sit here and don't do nothing and get pretty much that. So, or whatever they was making on top of their previous job and unemployment or whatever they put on there. People have been figuring out how to survive off that unemployment for a long time. And they don't really understand. I don't want to get political, but this is a political thing that when they putting all that easy money into the marketplace, into the system, into the economy, it's crushing small business because that means these girls ain't gonna work. You know what I mean? Or the caregiver's not gonna work because they got, it's like a welfare program. If they got welfare, why would they go to work? So if they ain't got no type of morals or work ethic. But there was COVID and people were scared, and I do understand that. I was worried, so I get it. We're getting past it. And just a little side note, I make sure everybody on my business, everybody has to be vaccinated. Don't even come around me if you're not vaccinated. Don't even. And I'm not even like whatever the law say. That's one thing. If they can file some type of something discrimination, because if you're not vaccinated, that's the first question I'm asking. Applications, whatever. Are you vaccinated? Vaccinated. Nope. All right, no, we can't hire. Get vaccinated, then reapply. I had one caregiver who was working for me. She tried to. She said she wasn't get vaccinated. I said, well, you're not getting no shift until you get vaccinated. She got vaccinated the next couple of days, and I just feel like we're in a medical field, and you can't go in these people's homes and compromise their family with your just because you following some weird stuff on the internet. You're not using real logic or like real scientific data. You just going off of the homies on YouTube, because that's what it is. The majority of the information that they get and is telling them not to get it. And that's so. Let me make this really clear. If you have a doctor's telling if your doctor says you can't get it for whatever reason, I don't even know. I don't have to get. I don't need to know the reason. If the doctor say you can't get it, then that's cool. I can't make you get it. I can't fire you for that. But if you don't get it, you're not getting no more hours until you do. I'm not gonna fire you. I'm just going, get somebody get your hours away. So I'm sorry about that little tangent, but we have had a real impact. But the crazy thing is that we was already dealing with caregiver shortages before COVID. It just got crazy worse. So these are the locations where the majority of the shortages were. It said where got not impacted at all. And those are like states where if you look at some of those, well, not Ohio, those states, but some of those states up there in the Midwest, they didn't even have a whole bunch of COVID. So I know they didn't have to worry about a lot of the shortages because they just didn't have a lot of COVID in some of them rural towns. Like in major cities, we dealt with that. Median caregiver hiring conversion for 20. Okay. What are we looking at here? 30% kind of higher. Okay. My number will probably be the lowest because I'm not high. It'll probably be like 9% or something like that. Based on how many people applied, we're probably at 15, 20% out of 100, or less. It's got to be less because if they're at 13%, it got to be less. We're not, we get a lot of BS inquiries, and that's what it is that make the number look like that. It's because we get a lot of BS, and that's because we're in a lot of places. You're going to get great caregiver inquiries from like LinkedIn. You're going to get great caregiver inquiries on Indeed. But when you start talking about social media that has these options, which is good because you get a lot of people, but you got to shift through it. Facebook is terrible as far as the quality of the caregivers. We get good ones, but it's just so hard. You got to shift through it. So that's what makes that number go so low for us. We're not lucky enough to get like at the bottom, you see 50% of applicants were hired. 25%. That's just insane. I don't know where they're finding these people at. So this is the masters. Caregiver applicants, caregiver interviews. See, like, look, these are 800 applicants. They only hired 144. So that's consistent. That makes sense. And what's that percentile? 17%. So, hiring ratio. Those are masters. Caregiver hiring ratio. 2020 revenue. Okay, these are the people under the masters. So it's pretty much, because that's twice as much. Is there because they're getting in 800 applicants and the people making 2.8 to $5 million a year, they're only getting 44 inquiries, 444, and they're only interviewing not 191 of them, and then they're hiring 115. That's a lot of hires out of that, them interviews. That's desperation. Okay. Median conversion for 2020, revenue range by revived caregiver applicants. Okay. Oh, these are just the different the ranges of revenues generated. So we're just going down. And what this is probably helping with, oh damn, I went too far. What this is probably helping with is what it should be helping with is to give you guys an idea on like what it should be looking like. I'm hiring too many people, or I'm rushing this. Why, we're obviously doing something wrong. If you're beyond these, your numbers aren't gonna look like this. Obviously, mine don't look like most of this. So but that doesn't take away the information that you can still benefit and still make decisions based on this information. Okay, what are we looking at? Caregiver lifetime value. This is another thing I don't know. And I got some caregivers that, man, I have caregivers that have been with me for over 5 years. So their lifetime value is scary. Like that's a number I would never want them to see. How much money we done made off of them since they've been working for us. But median revenue per caregiver by orientation training hours for 8 per caregiver lifetime value. 8 plus orientation hours. Okay. Median revenue caregiver per ongoing training per hours. So hold on, what am I looking at? Median revenue per caregiver employee by orientation training hours. I don't understand that. I'm thinking that meant they were saying like how much revenue you generated from the value, from that particular caregiver. But I think it's going to explain it a little further on the next slide. So because this is like it's half and half. It's two different things right here. Well, it didn't. It was the turnover rate. Turnover rate, it is what it is. They're gonna quit. They're gonna stop showing up. They're gonna the ones that got some, decency about themselves, they'll communicate. But a lot of times life happens. The people that we're hiring, they're usually some, a lot of times they're in different situations. They might be in binds, financial binds, because there's low wage workers. It is what it is. Low wage workers deal with a lot of problems. Poverty, poverty comes with a lot of problems. So we empathize with that, and we try to be mindful and patient with them, because they're working for us. But at the same time, we're not gonna let them, crash our situation or, ruin a client, which they do all the time. Like if a client, like I have like a particular situation that's going on right now. I have a client that he wants, like 40 something hours a week, which is a great case. And I have the caregiver, but now she's off. And now he don't want nobody else. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm all, and she's a great caregiver, like a great caregiver. She has all these, she was an EMT. She's just awesome, but she got life things going on. And, it was a call out here, it is. So it's like, but the family loved her. And now we're trying to, get him to accept or even consider another caregiver. The reason that he's not accepting another caregiver, from my perspective, is that he doesn't need it as much as he says he does. Because if you need a caregiver and you got stuff to do, and your mom or your loved one needs somebody there while you're working or whatever, it's no other way of going about it. You have to get a caregiver. And I know he didn't, because he may have went with another company, but he's not communicating like he did. He's like, oh, we'll just wait for such and such, and we'll see how, but it's like that's like hard, because it's like, this person is kind of blocking your bag, and it's nothing you can do about it. I mean, you can keep talking to him. Like we try to communicate with him, you know, as often as possible, checking on, make sure, oh, we're just checking on mom and see how she's doing without a care. You know what I mean? Trying to remind and drill, you know, kind of get back in there with another caregiver, but sometimes it's just not the case. So hiring is very, you know, it's touchy. So you got to be careful because you want to make sure when you put somebody over there that they're going to be consistent. Because one thing we try to do in our company is to not do a whole bunch of like different caregivers. Most companies, like bigger agencies, they like chop shops. They be sending, you know, so I done been in clients' houses, you know, not me personally, but we done been in clients' houses on consultations where they say, oh, the last company, like they visiting angels, they call them visiting devils around here. They say visiting angels, they send a new person every shift, like every day almost. I'm like, huh? So the mom or the loved one, they have no consistency. So if you got dementia, I don't even know how they're getting it off. Like how you can send a new caregiver to somebody with dementia every few days. Like it's just they're gonna be way confused. So that's kind of one of my strong points, but that you have to have a great team of caregivers to be able to pull that off. And to when you hire, you the way you communicate and the way you know talk to people and kind of position or present your company and your culture to the caregivers when you hiring them determines a lot of that as well. If they feel like they're about to be a part of the team, that they're going to be supported, and they're going to have to be supportive. They could, you know, communicate and fill shifts. If they're going to be late, they can talk to a caregiver, you know, things like that. And we always put the clients first. And once we got that mentality going on with all the caregivers, people's going to work, and if they can't, they calling their friends, or I mean, they calling other caregivers, hey, you know, can such and such work here, and they communicate. So it's like a team thing. Bigger agencies, you know, they can't keep that up because it's like, you know, they have to do other things and, to maintain those big overhead costs, especially them franchises. They got big overhead. That's why we can beat them for prices because their overhead is high. If they can't go under like $23 or $22 an hour. I can't and still make money. They can't. So just think if they can't make money at 23, 24, or they can't make money at 22, 21, 2019, I can make money at 19. And it's almost no agency in my market that's going to charge that little for care. I'm not going to make a mint, but I don't care because I'm always thinking long term. Most clients, they always sign up with a little bit of hours. They always sign up with the minimum 20, 25 hours or express care just to try it out. So I'll get in there at 18, even 19 an hour, paying a caregiver 15. You like, man, you ain't making no money, $4 an hour. But it's a long game. And then it's always about client acquisition. If I have multiple clients, the more clients I have making that $4 an hour, then obviously I'm doing pretty good. So again, I just kind of went a little left, but that's the importance of, you know, from my personal experience, picking the right caregivers to go into your clients' homes. It's 6:00 and I don't y'all not giving me no feedback. I feel like I'm talking to myself. Can y'all hear me? This been like I feel like I'm in school or something.
Yeah, we listen. I'm listening.
I need some feedback. Like none of the information, is it like boring or like is it relevant?
I'm just taking it in, listening.
Okay. Any questions or thoughts or anything? Because we're gonna wrap it up.
Well, how does this work? I know this is for, of course, the home care, but talk a little bit about it as it relates to assisted living. You still doing assisted living?
Yeah. So that's what I don't know if you heard me in the beginning. And when I first said this, I had said that I know that some of this information for you in particular may not be as relevant because you focus on assisted living. But the information the numbers for the clients and what you making is totally different. But hiring caregivers and stuff like that is pretty much the same. So like all this information that I'm talking to you about caregivers, this is relevant to you, you know, because these caregivers, they can work at your facility.
Right.
And the beauty of doing home care for me, because we got into home care first, is that we were able to, we already had caregivers.
Right.
So
are these caregivers primarily living? I mean, well, as it relates to assisted living.
Absolutely. So the way I staff my assisted living, the way my little strategy is this. I always want to put at least one live-in in there. If it's a bigger house, then we'll get two. But I always want one live-in, because that live-in is going to be like my eyes and ears. And then I go a step further and get them the training to be the assistant living manager. So you're in Maryland, so you understand what I'm saying. You have to have that the alternate. They're not the main, but they're the alternate. So they're not actually responsible directly unless the main assist manager isn't available. So, but they have all this, they have the same knowledge. So that's basically saying that I have a live-in manager. What I couldn't afford it if it was an actual manager to live there, you know, because you can't pay him that much. But a caregiver that's been trained as a manager with that training, and you know, I pay for it to put it through the training. And so I have that, a caregiver there, and then depending on how many residents and the level of care per resident, that's going to determine how many other caregivers we need. Some houses you may only need 3 caregivers, a live-in, a full-time, and a PRN or a part-time. Sometimes, it all depends. And then the thing about it, and what it depends on is how many residents and the level of care each resident is going to need.
Right.
And I mean, those aren't the only staff. It's obviously going to be a manager and a nurse. I try to have my nurse come every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks, every 21 days. And they have to come every 60 days anyway. So, or every 45 days. So, so a lot of this information about caregiver, you know, like recruiting and stuff like that is relevant. And we want to keep them trained. You know, you just like the training for caregivers in home care. I mean, because they're doing the same work, they just at a house, you know, and most of the caregivers that you got, they in home care, they go into somebody's house too. It's just not multiple residents. But this particular information is pretty much consistent, other than the about acquiring clients. We don't go the same route to get clients for home care that we do residents for the homes. It's a totally different marketing strategy. So, but we're gonna get there. It's just, you know, and I want you to remember, you don't have to wait till we get to that in the training. Call me if you have questions. Let's talk about it. And you know, I don't want you to have to be like, oh, I'm waiting 2-3 months to get to what I needed. No, you can call me and we can work on what you need tomorrow if that's the case. So this doesn't have to be relevant to you here. Like I said, we can always work on it stuff individually. And I hope y'all remember that.
Okay,
So,
Alan, is there a way myself and Valerie can have like a meeting with you anytime?
What do you mean?
Can give us at least a quick rundown on the assisted living, like the process and stuff like that, if that's okay with Valerie.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's set up let's schedule something. It's gonna definitely be after the holiday. It's gonna be after the holiday. What are y'all talking? Like, what do you mean? Like a quick, like a little hour Zoom or something?
No, just like a little, like quick rundown, like the process. What do we need to get first? Like, I'm kind of struggling with what do I need to get first? Do I need to get zoning permits? Do I need to get them to come in and see? I'm just confused with
Did you download? What state are you in? Are you in Maryland?
Yeah, I'm in Maryland.
Did you download the application and the instructions?
I did, but I'm just confused. Like, what do I need to get first? What do I need to get?
Okay. Well, they all that's in the instructions.
I know. So yeah, so let's do this. Let's do this.
Hi, excuse me. This is Sonia. I'm also interested in assisted living as well.
Okay. So yeah, and everyone is in the Facebook group, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So this is what I'll do. I'll do a separate meeting just for, so we can just kind of run down some stuff on assisted living. I mean, everybody's welcome, but definitely. So make sure you guys start working on your questions and some of the things you're struggling with and things like that. That's what this is for. Like, I don't want to just be preaching. I want to be engaging. Like, I want to what's so next to this? What do I do? Let's go back and forth. That's better for me because I can, and then we'll be able to get into some real meat and potatoes.
Well, I mean, for me,
I don't know where you're at. So, I mean, I'm asking, where are you at? Where are you doing? I need to know where you're at. I know Sonia. No, not Sonia. I always get Sonia. It's a couple different y'all. But the sister with Valerie, she already has a property, correct? You already have a property, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Valerie, I think I'll reach out to you on the Facebook group, and maybe I can have a chat with you.
And that's what I'm saying. So like that was the point of the cohort, for you guys to work together as well. So you feel free to jump in there, post your questions in the group, and we can communicate there as well. Like this is what this is. That's a private group. It's nobody else going to be in there. Each cohort got their own group. So all that information is only the people that's in these meetings here now is going to see it. So feel free to like share openly. And I know, so I didn't realize two of y'all, was it two of y'all, three of y'all in Maryland? Or two?
I'm in Maryland.
Okay.
I'm in Maryland.
Sonia.
I'm in Michigan.
Okay, so it's Sonia and Valerie are in Maryland. So a lot of the same stuff, and y'all both doing assisted living, a lot of the same stuff is going to be, y'all going to be dealing with a lot of the same challenges. Valerie already has a property. And how are you making out with did you talk to the state?
According to the state, this system is down, and they don't know when it's going to be back up. They don't even know what happened.
When did that happen? When did you get that information?
I talked to them Monday. I talked to Sean Settles Monday, and he asked me to call back in a couple of days and speak to Mr. Sleeth. And I called him back yesterday, and the system was still down. And I asked Mr. Sleeth, when did he want me to follow back up with him? Like next week sometime. He was like a week or two.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the banking says everything went down because Amazon went down like 2 days ago. So that took banks down, everything. My bank, Navy Federal, was down. So they have to, maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. But that's interesting to know. But I'm gonna tell you just from past experience, like this holiday season, OHCQ is not gonna be, they at work, but they on vacation.
And I figured as much, yeah. And that
they at work, but they not doing nothing.
They ain't doing nothing for a minute.
They ain't doing nothing when they supposed to be. But I mean, I know they swamped over when everybody dealing with stuff. But yeah, we could get to it. So let's set something up. I'll just create like a separate little meeting or something, and then we'll just jump on here and just go crazy with all y'all assisted living questions and stuff like that.
Can I ask Sonia, do you already have a property, Sonia?
No, I'm going to lease my first property, and I am finding it challenging to lease a property because the landlords are asking me about money. How much am I going to make? Some of them are saying no.
Yeah, that was my first experience. The first property we did, I was renting a house from a landlord, private owner, a brother, and he was like, we agreed on the terms and everything to start putting seniors in it. Once we got start making money, he was like, he didn't want us to. He like, shit, y'all doing it in my house. Y'all, if I evict y'all, I can, do it myself. So that's going to be a thing. Yeah. But so you got to go in there with a long-term lease. Like, look, resident seniors are low impact residents or what you call tenants, right? When you talk about like most landlords who that's their business, and Valerie, she's in real estate, so she understand that they are, they want, most of the time they want tenants who going be there for a long time, and pay consistently. And that's what you're going to be able to provide. I'm going to pay consistently, and I'm going to be there for a long time. And the fact that there are seniors in there. Seniors don't kick holes in walls. Seniors don't write on the wall. Seniors don't do all that. So once you explain that to them, or you make them see the bigger picture or see that angle, then it's a little bit more, you know, they're a little bit more receptive. And this too, this is how this was the agreement. I had a bonus for every time. So if I have, the house was full, I paid an extra amount on the rent per client. You see what I mean? So if we got, we were paying an extra $450 every time we got a resident. So we were paying the original rent, I think it was like $1,600. And then on top of that, every time we would get a client, we'll pay him more. So at a full house, he was getting way more than market rent. And it was a win-win because we were still profitable. And we were just paying rent and our caregivers, and we didn't have to worry about the house. We paid all the bills, like the stuff like that, but he had the mortgage and all that. But so we didn't have to buy a house. We didn't have to buy a house. So it could be done if it's done correctly. You know, you could lease a property from a landlord, and I suggest doing it through like a professional real estate investor, not somebody who just has a house for rent, like somebody who actually understands real estate and things like that. So
yeah, it has multiple properties.
Yeah,
probably.
exactly.
And then,
that's what they do.
Yeah, and then some, because I had recently started doing furnished rentals. I guess, you know, most know it as Airbnb. And I started subleasing, and I just put together a little write-up of why that I would send to the landlords of why it was beneficial for them to go with me versus a traditional tenant.
Yeah, absolutely.
And and once you get that, Sonia, you just send that out, or, you know, respond using it to, you know, when you see stuff on Craigslist or however you looking, or like Alan said, with a professional management or real estate agent.
I always suggest, because I was in the real estate industry before, I had a lot of people on my email, so it was easy for me. But I would suggest you, if you're looking for that particular, if you're going that particular route, I would suggest getting to like real estate, the RIAs, the real estate investment.
Yeah.
Go to the RIA. If you're in Maryland, I would go to where are you trying to do your property at?
I'm in Michigan.
Yeah, she's in Michigan. Yeah, but
sorry.
they still got RIA groups.
Yeah, absolutely. I know the lady who got the RIA up there. It's a sister up there. She called. I did a presentation for her. I just got to find her name, and she runs the RIA out of, I don't know what part of Michigan, but she in Detroit, and she does like a lot of house flipping and stuff like that. She wanted me to come speak to the her group about assisted living. So they interested. They so just join the RIA. And I'll try to find the link and post it in the group.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And then they still have Meetup. It used to, a long time ago, used to be a website called Meetup. And when
meetup.com. I'm on there. I got a group on there. So
so go, Sonia, you can go and Meetup, and you can type in RIA in Michigan or whatever, and it should bring up most of the groups. And then you just want to get your little write up. And a lot of the groups I participate in, they have where you could present your deal or whatever. You just want to get up in front of the group and partner. You're looking for a investor who has rental properties who want to partner, and a lot of them will be very interested now, because you got a lot of tired landlords who will beat up behind these.
Absolutely, them rents. Nobody paying their rent. Yeah,
and you couldn't evict.
Another problem I'm coming across, they're charging $2,000-$3,000 just to lease also.
I mean, because they trying to cut into what you got going on. That's probably all that is. They know what you're doing, and they understand the business model.
Yeah, but you just haven't found.
It's just negotiation. Yeah, it's just negotiation. Like you said, I gotta hop off of here. We can keep this conversation going. Y'all can stay on if y'all want, but if not, y'all can just communicate in the Facebook group, exchange information and things like that. That's the point.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
Hey, look, next Thursday we gonna meet after the New Year. Next Thursday, and then it's gonna be Christmas, so we'll just meet after the New Year. That following Thursday, I'll give y'all the exact date in the group. All right.
right. Okay.
I don't want y'all to be worried about this and the holiday season and stuff like that. Families need to be focused on family right now.
Okay.
Including myself. All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank y'all. And if I don't hear from you guys, have a happy holidays. All right.
Okay, you too.
All right,
Valerie.
Uh-huh.
Can I reach out to you, please?